Just to say, so of course you weren't surprised because you had on your slide there about the financial management skills. You were talking with young farmers. That's actually the one that comes right to the top. So you weren't surprised at all by the poll that happened at the outset. I mean, just before, because I know we do have a few questions that have come in from Slido. I mean, when we've heard about this initiative today and we've heard about the importance of flexibility, do these kinds of financial instruments, do you think, help you offer improved flexibility? I mean, what's your view on what you've heard? And, you know, we heard the words hope and excitement this morning. What's your view from a banking perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a very welcome development this morning. Yeah, I think that flexibility is absolutely, if we look at, I think the slide that Bart put up earlier, if you look at the volatility that was in Europe up until 2005, the volatility was minimal in prices. Since 2005, it has exploded. And I suppose that's why, and farmers are really struggling with that, because what we would have found is that the previous generation never really had price volatility at anything like the levels they have now. So they've really struggled with it. So flexibility in terms of from a loan point of view is very important, but as well as that, you know, that's one part of it. What we need to do as well is we need to really upskill our farmers in terms of financial management and how they actually do that, because that wasn't as much of a skill. You didn't require that skill anything near as much when you didn't have the volatility. So absolutely, I think that it's a very important, flexibility is a very important option to have. But it's in tandem with a number of other levers that we need to focus on as well. And in fairness, there is work being done on that side of it also.
And in terms, just again, but yes, go for it, please. Thank you. Come in.
Maybe one.
Are you being heard at the back? No. Voila.
Maybe one thing to add. Also, it was in the conclusion of last speaker. I think cooperation between farmers, cooperation between within the chain. I mean suppliers, also processing plants. It's becoming more and more important. It's not only bank or financial instruments that will give solutions. It's a combination of farmer skills, of flexible lending, of cooperation. It's a combination of all that.
And I have one question for you just at the end before I turn to Bruno, but just one issue. You said that with price volatility, you were saying that what farmers tend to do is drive down certain costs and become more efficient. But when I ask, is there knowledge in terms of financial management, you're saying, you know, that's becoming much more necessary. Without wishing to put anyone's nose out of joint, is there a proper knowledge about how to increase efficiency across the board? I mean, if you say increase efficiency, is that something that every farmer will, you know how to put in place? No, there is the short answer. I mean, if you look at any population, be it farmers, be it shopkeepers, be it whatever, you're going to have different cohorts. I suppose what we're trying to do, one of the things that, if I spoke about the grass 10, Ireland is a bit different from other countries because of the fact that we're so dependent on grass for the bulk of our farmers. So what we've tried to do is, with that efficiency side of if we're looking at the scheme, for instance, the grass 10 scheme, to say how can we try and reach a lot of farmers and help them look at what's a key part of their business and try and drive the efficiency. So, and if you look at it, you know, every farmer is not going to be able to operate at the top levels of efficiency, but if you can move the dial a small bit with every farmer, so suddenly a Division 3 farmer becomes a Division 2 farmer, and they probably will have a lot lower level of borrowings than a Division 1 farmer. Are we using football analogy then?
Yeah, well.
By chance. Okay.
So you will, then that's what helps farmers, one of the aspects of them in terms of improving their efficiency. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge challenge. I would imagine that challenge has always been there, but price volatility makes it all the more required.
Okay. One question, yes, before I come to you, Bruno, is this issue, and just very short answer, but to pick up on it, because I thought it was interesting. When you showed the figures with the farmers, you said, look, you know, we've got more lending overall, we've got more to the average age farmer, but it becomes more interesting when you see the amount that's going, even though it's less to young farmers in terms of numbers, the amount is higher. So just give me a little bit of an explanation around that.
Depend to the duration of the loan, because in particular the young farmer needs loan for develop the farms, develop the mechanization, and realize all kind of developing inside its activities. Yeah. Of course, it's the history of the credit to the agricultural farming in Italy, but maybe the same in all Europe, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, yes,
and
indeed.
We need, in Italy in particular, but in Europe too, move not only the farmer to the financial knowledge, but move the banks in the financial knowledge in agricultural. Okay. Because we lose a lot of opportunity to develop our strategy, because we know a little part of agricultural.
Yeah. But then to coin that word, then it would become so much more efficient. So thank you very much for that. You can hang on to that, no problem. So we heard some stuff from Slido. Thank you.
And maybe a question to the three gentlemen. What are the main, very personal one, what are the main reasons to refuse a loan?
Very personal would be what colour underwear are they wearing, not what's the main reason. They're here to say they are banks. Okay, so go on, start with you, sir. You first. What's the main reason? Be frank.
It's difficult to say, but I think it's indeed knowledge, financial insight, to know what you're talking about. Mostly we know within 5 minutes when you're talking to a farmer, are you giving the loan or not giving the loan? So financial insights, preparing, having a business plan, an own business plan, not that of the accountant, knowing your own figures, that makes the difference mostly between getting a loan or not getting a loan.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely, knowledge more than guarantee. Knowledge and knowledge from the bank to the farmer, and the young farmer in particular, because we need to know all kind of the activity.
Okay.
Yeah, repayment capacity, which is linked to it. It's not being able to demonstrate repayment capacity, be it lack of knowledge or not having. I suppose when we look at, if you look at a farmer that's farming 10, 15 years, they will have a track record, obviously, and they will have financial accounts. When a young farmer comes in, they can't have a track record, obviously. So they need. It's all the more important for them to have a proper business plan, because you don't have anything to go on, and that's why, you know, it's way more important for young farmers to have a business plan. And a business plan, I think what was said there, their business plan that they own and they know, rather than something that they've done just to try and satisfy a requirement, which is what tends to happen a bit.
Yeah, well, you were saying it there. Those business, you know, it's no good that just waving a piece of paper.
And that was feedback from young farmers themselves. That actually came from research where young farmers themselves said it to the researcher.
Okay.
You know, that they were just doing, so it tends to happen a bit.
Okay, so they need to take proper ownership. And I'm sure, of course, it's like you say, if you understand that they know where they're going and they're going to invest wholeheartedly in that, then you are much more likely to have faith. Yeah. Okay, a second question, please.
Question to Bart. You introduced the concept of joker. If a farmer uses a joker, is the interest rate typically increased at the next interest rate review date or not?
Well, it depends. The interest rate in advance is a little bit higher because you pay in advance the possibility to use a joker. So yes, it's a little bit higher. And on interest review date, yes, it's the market, how it's fluctuating. The margin is stays the same, but it's the fluctuation of the market. And maybe the risk of the farm, it's becoming a high risk it also.
Okay, so you are paying for the joker, that's for sure.
Yes, a little fee in advance.
I love it when banks say a little fee. What's the third question?
What is the percentage of KBC Agri loans? Which percentage is Agroflex loans?
I think around 15%, something like that.
15, 1.5.
1.5, yes.
1.5%, okay. Anything from the floor, ladies and gentlemen? Any worries that really all this time you thought you were drinking Lambrusco and it's just Coke? Good God damn, why were we paying for that? Yes, Frank, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the three panelists, I guess. You all have these flexible products. The point of today's conference is to say, in that scenario, if you had access to public support, how would you improve your product, I guess? Now, I think you've all talked about technical assistance, for example, so that could be something funded by public support, whether it's in your organizations or down to the farmers. It sounds like guarantees are not necessarily what you need, but you might correct me. What about grants? Grants going alongside your products, is that important for you? Business plan support, I mean, how would your product improve, you think, given access to public support?
Thank you for that very excellent question. Can I start with you, sir?
I think it was mentioned earlier today, I'm not sure what speaker, about the use of land, and that ownership of land may not necessarily be always the right solution for young farmers. But access to land is more important. So if we take where in Ireland there has been a substantial increase in the amount of leasing of land that has taken place over 10, 15 years, for young farmers to get access to finance above a threshold of probably €100,000, you will certainly, the ability to have a guarantee there would be a major benefit for us. Because really up to now, the increase in land leasing has only kind of started over the last 3 to 4 years in Ireland. So I do anticipate that we will probably have farmers that will now be looking for the next stage of finance on those farms, and so the capacity for a guarantee in those cases, when we go above borrowings of around €100,000, certainly would be a major benefit to us.
Thank you, sir.
Agricultural finance is subsidiary finance in Italy too, and in the rest of Europe. But the policymaker make a policy without the bank, without the commercial bank. I think that, in particular in Italy, I think that we need to go inside the policymaker rooms and offer our strategy, our competitive strategy, and offer our knowledge over the behavior of the little farmer. Subsidiary finance is now, it is, in the future will be forever, it is, in Europe and in Italy, but we need to move the bank inside the decisionary maker.
Okay.
It's opportunity for us, of course. I'm a teacher of Banque Italian Association. I'm alone in credit for agricultural. I propose this kind of view to regional government, and I understand the answer. Because, for example, for the new approach of the new agricultural community, the new program to 2020 to 2027, 28, 26, 27, we need to a common view of credit in agricultural, and we need to improve our knowledge for all.
Okay. Thank you.
if we're looking at financing in agriculture, we first have to believe in the farmer, believe in his or her management skills, and also in the repayment capacity that they can pay back their loans. For the start, it's mostly not a problem to financing. Start of a new farm up to 250, 300,000 euros without any guarantees. But if we go further on, if they want to buy farmland, the farm itself, then it becomes sometimes a problem. Problem if you're looking at guarantees, the huge investments according to the earnings that you can get, and also if you are constructing a new stable today, tomorrow you want to sell it, I think it's something about 50% of the price you get back. So that's quite a problem if they are growing, are becoming bigger, so guarantees can partly be a solution. Otherwise, subsidies are sometimes helpful, but mostly they are coming too late. If we are giving loans to young farmers, we can't wait on the subsidies. So we are financing, not taking into account subsidies, and we hope that they're getting subsidies within the most difficult years, are mostly the first 3 years, 3 to 5 years. So hopefully they get their subsidies within this period of 3, mostly, but especially within the 5 years, and hopefully they're getting it up front. So.
Okay, now I'm going over, don't worry ladies and gentlemen, because I don't think, Michael, you need about, what, 10 minutes to wrap at the end? 10, 15, you'll be all right. So I think I can just come back and, because there's obviously a lot of interest, take another question or two from Slido.
Yeah, a question for the three gentlemen. So improving knowledge and skill is a condition necessary but not sufficient to get access to credit. How would you recommend to improve knowledge and skills for the borrowers?
He doesn't accept your microphone. He wants, he's got his own. Look.
There's a couple of things I would say on that. I suppose one of the things that I think needs to happen, so in market research we did in the last 12 months, we asked farmers that were planning on transferring their land in the next 10, or their business in the next 10 years, 86% of those farmers knew who they were going to transfer it to. So they had an identified successor, but only 50% of those successors were involved in making management decisions on the farm today. So if we want to improve the knowledge and skills of our farmers, we've got to make sure that they're involved earlier in terms of the management decisions on the farm. They don't necessarily have to take it over, but they have to be involved earlier. And in fairness to our Department of Agriculture, there has been an increase in partnerships now where we're seeing farmers be getting involved at a younger age, but I think that's absolutely key. It's too late if you're taking over it, in your late 30s, I think, because you need to be immersed in the financial skills and the management of the business at a much earlier age. I think that's actually the number one thing, because we would see that farmers we have students that are in college learning about how to manage finance of the farm, but they mightn't get a chance to put it into place for 7 or 8 years after coming out of college.
So actually then part of this issue with training is it needs to be quite 360 degree from different kinds. I mean, surely that's what you're saying, because there's the college aspect isn't enough, then you've sort of got the government aspect, then you've got on the farm itself thing, then it's peers. I mean, it needs to be, if we're asking categorically, where does that training come from? How do you fill that gap? It needs to come from a lot of quarters, correct?
Yeah, it needs to be practical on farm.
On the farm. Okay, so a nice concise answer from you two gentlemen, please. Thank you.
We have a lot of interesting measures inside the rural program to develop knowledge. We move to dedicate this program to the farmer, to the young farmer, but to the bank employee, to groove together to a new conceptualization of our rule and of our programmation item.
So you banks need to think more about how you better train your staff in order to better have that.
We need knowledge
from yourselves.
the policymaker. We need knowledge for the world of agriculture, but the policymaker and the young farmer and the farmer too.
They're not hearing. Sorry. Just go on. You need knowledge from the
Sorry,
go for it. No,
knowledge.
it's my fault. Go on.
Sorry, we need knowledge from policymaker and the technician of agricultural. And the young farmer and the farmer too and the policymaker too needs knowledge from the bank, credit knowledge, absolutely. We need policy knowledge and technical knowledge, but they need absolutely credit knowledge. Risk policy.
I have a little to add. Maybe one thing, I think farming is in Flanders, but I think in whole Europe, mostly a family business. Mostly it's go from parents to children. So it's not enough for the children to only work on the farm. They also have to look at the figures, the economical feasibility of the farm, the father, mother, so that they know if they are starting with the farm, they're continuing with the farm, what they can possibly earn with that type of farm, and also where are the possibilities to increase the efficiency of the farm.
No, we're good. We're absolutely good. And it's interesting, but I mean, I don't know if it's related, because I remember you saying earlier that there is this funding available for training, EU funding available, but there isn't sufficient uptake. But it's one of those things where the remaining question to me is absolutely everybody has a responsibility in their respective quarters. That's the first half of the equation. And then it's who makes sure that that training happens in those different areas. The bank for the bank, the local government for the local government. On the farm, you've got to take responsibility for thinking about that, or looking to your peers for thinking about that. Okay, so very interesting. And I'm glad that that last question treated what was essentially what we asked at the opening of that poll. That was a nice rounding off there. So thank you very, very, very much, gentlemen. Toughest slot, you did fabulously and kept us all highly entertained and very educated. So please give them a very warm round of applause. Thank you. Thank you.